You're listening to the Departure Lounge podcast with your host, Tom Whittle. Your ticket to the home of aviation podcasts.
It's Sunday night, and you know what that means. Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 21 of the Departure Lounge podcast here on the Departure Lounge YouTube channel. And of course, if you are listening on Spotify, hello to you as well. My name is Tom Whittle, and joining me this evening for what will be a very wild and heated debate from the comments corner is Ian Hartley. Ian, very good evening to you. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks, Tom. Good evening to you as well. Looking forward to tonight. It should be very interesting.
Interesting is one way of putting it. We're going to end up falling out, I think.
No, I think we'll be all right. I mean, we're talking about these liveries, and to be fair, I mean, we've picked the worst liveries what we can find, but I don't, you know, there's probably worst out there, and they're probably not as bad as what we're making them out to be quite honest. And I'm not backtracking, I'm just saying.
No, I will say it was very difficult to come up with just 5, because there are literally so many. But we will do our best to try and get through them all. There are some very controversial ones in there, so we invite you to have your say in the comments as well, and we will get your sort of opinions and everything as to what you think is the worst livery in the last sort of 20 years or so, read out throughout this evening's show. Now, before we go on, we do have, as I put onto the Instagram story on the account, we do have an announcement to make in regards to the co-host position. Now, as you know, given the sort of how the last sort of month or so has been, sort of one out, one in sort of thing, and the one in is here to stay. So, joining us on a full-time basis is Steve Aldridge. Steve, well done, and hello to you.
Yeah, well, good evening, Tom, Ian, and I'd just like to say thank you ever so much for giving me the opportunity to just be part of this wonderful show that I've enjoyed watching on the other side of the screen, and I hope to be able to carry on your good work.
Absolutely. I mean, me and Ian both were very impressed with sort of how you've been over the last sort of couple of weeks on the show, and yeah, here you are now on a full-time basis.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
To have you.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Excellent stuff. So now you're on the show. This might be your only appearance because we are probably going to fall out this evening.
Yeah.
But
yeah, of course.
But no, that's fine. So let's get into the housekeeping before we get on to the arguments. So, as I said, top of the show, we are on Spotify. So you can listen back to this episode from tomorrow, and of course catch up with any other episode whilst you're out and about through Spotify, which there is a link in the description below. You can also follow us on our social medias, which are also in the description below. On Instagram, it's the Departure Lounge YT, and on Twitter, it is the Dep Lounge YT for those. Keep up to date with everything that's happening on the channel, and yeah, find our pictures on there as well of aircraft. Not in the direction of the channel sponsor, airspotters.com, who continue to bring out some astonishing models and provide a wonderful service in doing so. And of course, if you wish to become a guest on the show at any stage, you can contact us through our social medias, as we've just read out, and we will get you on the show as soon as possible. But I think that's everything to do with that. So, shall we begin? Because yeah, this is going to be interesting. Like I said, there's going to be a few very controversial choices, but well, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So, should we get into it?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's go.
Okie dokie. So, before we do, how easy or how difficult was it to pick a top 5? Because I thought it was very difficult.
Yeah, no, it really was. There's probably 2 straight off the bat, I would have thought, yeah, they're definitely in. But to come up with 5, it was terribly difficult. I spent hours scouting on flight radar, plane finder, to try and find liveries of planes I'd not heard of, to try and sort of get the list up. So it wasn't easy at all.
Same for you, Ian, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, like Steve, there's a couple you can think of straight away. But then you're scouring for lesser known airlines. You're looking for regional airlines in places like Asia and even Africa and stuff like that, looking for obscure liveries. But on the flip side of it, you discover really nice liveries as well, which you'd never seen before, which I know I did. So yeah, it's been really, really good.
Yes.
Looking.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's a couple of choices that were very easy, like very, very easy to kind of point it out, as we sort of discussed before, like during the week and that. But trying to sort of think of 5 was difficult enough to come up with, but we got there in the end, and we're about to go through them. So, Steve, we're going to start with you first.
Okay.
Your fifth placed choice, which is American Airlines. Talk us through why you don't like this.
Well, being in 5th place, if this was their livery from day one, it wouldn't have made my list, because it's not horrendous. But the reason it's made my list is because they've got rid of such an iconic livery before, like the chrome silver with the stripe through the middle. And to me, it's like buying a brand new Ferrari, driving it round the corner and getting it spray paint pink. It's just, you just wouldn't do it. So that's unfortunately why America made my list of shame on this one.
Yeah, what I mean, it's quite interesting that this one was picked, considering they had their chrome livery, which everybody really, really loved, over the last sort of, 50, 60, maybe longer than that, 70 odd years. And then to switch this up was a bit of a brave move. I mean, I like it because it's, I've warmed up to it, but I didn't like it at the beginning. Ian, a right choice here, or are we sort of disagreeing?
I like the livery. I agree with what you're saying. It's not as good as the previous livery, but I do like it. I think my only reservation with it is the tail is meant to be a representation of the American flag, isn't it? But they put stripes where the blue is. Surely they should have put a few stars in it instead or something. I don't know, but
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, and apart from that little fault, I suppose, and then I've nothing against it. They've got the eagle, haven't they, in front of the right at the front, haven't they, near the cockpit, which is red, white, and blue as well. I like that. I mean, I like the livery, but I agree that the old livery was better. So
yeah, I say that's just purely the reason it's made my list. If American had always looked like it does on the screen now, I'd never have picked it. It's just that they've changed like a real Rolls Royce of the sky into something which is a bit more kind of mundane compared to how it used to look.
Yeah. I think that the liveries are meant to be eye-catching, aren't they, and outstanding, and you take one glance at it, you know exactly what it is. But they had that anyway, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, even from the sort of the earliest memories of that plane would have been like the Home Alone films, and they looked brilliant in that. Mm. And I don't think I would have had quite the same affection for this one as that sort of real nice chrome looking American airline.
Yeah, I mean,
it's definitely been dumbed down, hasn't it?
Yeah, that old chrome livery's been with the airline for, like I said, about 60 odd years. So it's seen the light of the 747s when they had them ages ago, and the 707s even had them. So it's iconic. It's a timeless livery, and so for them to kind of jump from that to going down like a rebrand sort of angle. I mean, there was a lot of speculation because I think this livery first came out on the 777-300 when they sort of had the first one built for them a good few years back, and there was speculation at the time that there was going to be a new livery unveiled, and I think that a lot of the reactions was quite negative, because it's like, well, why would you, if it's not broke, don't fix it, sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah,
and so when this sort of 777 came to light, and then they had this sort of non-chrome fuselage with a sort of a lighter grey sort of tail section, everyone was like, well, what's this then? What's going to be happening here? And then it came out, and I think there was a lot of negativity, because it was just the fact that everybody loved the chrome livery for photography reasons, and the fact that it is a classic. And then obviously to get rid of that now and then have this, I mean, it's taken a while to warm up. I do quite like it, because I've taken the time for it to warm up and that. But at the time I was one of those that hated the decision to get rid of the chrome livery.
Yeah, so it's not. It's because of its predecessor that it's made my list, rather than how it is today, to be quite honest.
Mm. Yeah, so it's an interesting choice, but at least it's not top of the pick. But yeah, it's an interesting one. It's one to sort of get the whole topic going, and kind of get everybody talking about why, whether they think this is a bad livery or not. But that's the point of this show. It's opinions. It's opinionated. So. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's all subjective, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on from this one then to Ian's pick. Ian's number 5 pick is a relatively sort of unknown airline, but they're from Switzerland, and they are called CH Air. And Ian, talk to us about why you don't like this livery.
Well, it's CHO. It's Chur, isn't it? So I don't know. It's just an ugly, cheap paint scheme. They've just don't want to look at it. We're called Chur. We'll make it look fancy, and we'll stick a bit of blue on here. We'll stick a bit of red on tail with a white cross on, and that's pretty much it. I just find it really. I don't know. It just looks cheap to me. It's like. It's not the ugliest livery in the world, don't get me wrong, but to me it just looks like a half-hearted attempt to create an image, and it just looks, I don't know, it doesn't jump out to you. It's just not bright enough, it just looks cheap and half-hearted, in my opinion.
Okay, Steve, your opinions on this?
Well, with the fact they've called it chair isn't probably the best commercial move in the world, but it doesn't offend me greatly. It's fairly vibrant. It's not by any means, but the branding's all wrong on it for the name of the airline, I would say.
I would probably. I mean, this is sort of one of those sort of liveries where it just looks like a concept that you find on websites. So you imagine. Just trying to think. There was a website years ago called Modified Airliner Photos, which people would upload sort of stretched A340s or double decker 747s and stuff, and create like concept liveries and stuff. And this to me is kind of what it sort of feels like to me. Is for many sort of Swiss airlines now that sort of come into play, like with the obvious being Swiss and. Helvetic are one of them as well, and now we've got, I don't think they're called Chair, but we'll go with Chair anyway.
It says.
I think it's CH Chair, because
it's Chair.
Yeah,
Chair to me.
We'll go with Chair because it'll be easier than saying CH Chair. But they got the cross on there as well, so it's very sort of simplistic in terms of picking something out, and then just going, right, we'll represent that we're Swiss. We'll chuck a cross on it. Happy days, job done, sort of thing. So, does it sort of? I'll tell you what it looks like. We just looked at the American livery, and we've got the eagle on the front.
Yeah,
it's like someone's just blown that up, put it on the tail, and then cropped it down.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. I can agree with that. I mean, what's the idea of the curves on the tail with it, on the edge of the paint? I don't understand that. And the cross as well. Do you know the little Swiss cross? It's like it's been an afterthought. So they sat there, they designed it, they've stuck this red bit on the tail and thought, oh, flipping out, we need to stick a cross or something on to represent where we're from. But we've only got this one, and we've only got this particular size, so we'll just stick that there. It'll do. They could have done something else with it. It's just a little white cross on. I don't know. It looks like an afterthought. The cross.
What would you do to probably improve it if you could?
What would I do? I would probably get rid of the blue for a start. I would fill the tail. I would probably come right down. Do you know where the blue is? And if you can see the blue sort of follows the leading edge of the tail, doesn't it? If you know what I mean. So you could bring the red right through to right down to the bottom of the plane. Put a bigger cross in the middle, and perhaps I don't know what to do with the CHA air bit, the chair bit. But I would certainly do that with the tail and just lose the blue, because I don't know. I suppose the blue can represent air, can't it? I suppose blue sky. Just not feeling it.
You think they put the blue in so it's not saying chair, so it becomes two separate words, perhaps?
Well, there's that. There's that.
I mean, what does
the
the
writing
CH
was all the same
represent? What's the CH bit? Am I missing something there? Did you say it was a Swiss air?
It's the prefix for Switzerland. So if you were to go onto a Swiss website, that's what you put instead of like .co.uk.
Oh, it's CH, is it? Right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So hence obviously the CH air and not chair sort of thing.
CH yeah. Even that's a bit of lazy marketing, I find. That they couldn't think of a name, so what can we do? Well, .ch. I know, we'll stick her at the end. It'll say chair, but we can change it to .ch. Yeah.
Yeah. Jumping over to comments, Aviation 19 says he says hello first of all, and that he kind of likes this livery. It's one of those Marmite ones, I think. It's one of those you're gonna like the simplicity of it, or it's one of those ones which just looks like it's been done on like Microsoft Paint or something. I don't know. It's to me, I think you could make some improvements. I think you could probably bring the red, like you say, all the way down to the tail. But do you remember the old Air Berlin livery where it went underneath the belly?
Yeah.
I would probably maybe go there and stick the blue on the engines instead, maybe. That's kind of what I would do I would probably create a concept, but it'll take me forever. But you stick the red on the tail, bring it all the way down right towards the nose, maybe sort of just underneath the windows, maybe. And maybe have like a blue line, possibly, instead of like... I'm just trying to think of a really good example. So the Air Berlin livery had a grey outline sort of thing, but you change that grey out and then change it for the blue. And I think it would probably work a bit better and keep the cross, or maybe enlarge the cross sort of thing, to keep that Swiss tradition.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with the cross being there. I would, like you say, make it bigger and maybe put a bit of a curve into the cross, make it look like a waving flag or something. I don't know, but
yeah,
I think also I would do away with the blue entirely, and probably use a different font for the and maybe leave an extra couple of window gap between the dots, the CH and the and then use a different font, but leave it in red.
It's a good little. I mean, you could do it that way. There were so many things, like I used to draw up concepts and stuff, so this one would be a fantastic one to do. But yeah, I mean, the blue, is it necessary? I don't like the positioning of the blue. I think, if anything, I think it could be a bit better. But so
I do agree with you that the engine covers would look better in a different colour.
Possibly the blue.
Break up.
Yeah, certainly.
Break up a little bit.
Yeah. Aviation 19 says that he kind of likes the livery, although it's his first time actually seeing the livery. So yeah, it's about that first impression again, sort of like it or lump it sort of thing. But yeah, so I'm sort of on the fence of this one. I don't know if I do like it or not. I think it just looks like it's thrown together. Steve, what did you sort of come up with? Did you sort of like this one, or was it sort of the same as?
It doesn't offend my eyes. It's certainly not the worst livery I've seen. Let's say I wouldn't call it chair. I'd try and break that up somehow.
Yeah,
but it's not the worst plain livery I've ever seen in my life. That's for sure.
Possibly hyphenate it.
Definitely, yeah. Split the word up. I'd leave a couple of windows between the CH and the and probably use it, like you said, put a hyphen in or something, or use a different font or something to put it in. So
it's a good shout. Good shout on that one. Right, we'll go on to my number 5 pick, which might get a few people talking. Is the old, now new, brought back to life Eastern Airlines. We're not quite past watershed yet, still a couple hours, but this is friggin' horrific. So everyone, people of a certain age will remember the old Eastern Airlines with the sort of the sky blue and dark blue cheat line that ran from the sort of leading edge of the tail all the way down to the sort of the front of the aircraft. Another sort of classy, timeless livery sort of thing. Then Eastern came back with that same livery, and everyone was like, okay, that's pretty cool, it's a throwback. Then they designed this monstrosity, and this sort of, to me, takes everything that Eastern were and just threw it out the window and went, we have no idea who Eastern are, we are a brand new airline, and here is our livery. And it does not scream anything like Eastern, and it's to me it looks like one of those obscure airlines that you just expect to go out of business like any time now, sort of thing.
I don't like the yellow engine covers.
Do or don't?
No, I don't.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And I'd want a bit more blue on the tail. They don't seem to have maximised tail usage.
No,
I agree with you there, Steve. Definitely.
I want the old Eastern back. I want the old livery back. I tried to put it onto the picture, but for whatever reason, it would not sit still properly. So in the end, I was like, right, we'll just go with this. But people will know. You have a Google if you want to. Just Google up Eastern Airlines. You'll see the old liveries on the old A300s and TriStars and stuff. But this, to me, like I said, just you take everything that Eastern were, because they were a fairly big airline back in the day. Took it with one hand, and then went, well, I don't know what to do with this. We'll throw it away and we'll start again, sort of thing. So yeah, I don't like this at all. But the fact that it makes my number 5 spot kind of it means there's a ton of crap liveries coming. I'll be interested to know what you guys think. So, Ian, yay or nay on this one? I know you don't like the yellow on this one.
I've got in front of me a picture of an old Eastern 747. I definitely prefer the old one. That's without a shadow of a doubt. No, I don't. I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like what Steve was saying about maximising the. God only knows what that logo is anyway. What's it meant to be and what it's meant to represent. I have no idea. But I think they could have done something different with the tail. I'd lose the yellow engine covers and the actual sweeping blue line what runs down the fuselage. I haven't really got a problem with that. It's just the little bits and pieces what are attached to it what I'm not a fan of.
It just looks like a mess. Like you if you look on the picture for people won't listening on this back on Spotify won't see it, but on the picture of the 767-200 you see the title and you got the logo of what Eastern were, and you can see it in the older pictures and stuff. They kept that logo. Yeah. But it's completely different on the tail.
It is completely different. I totally agree with you, and I have no idea what that's meant to represent, and I think that should go. I mean, looking at the old logo, I don't think the old logo would have done either, because I don't think the old logo represents what they're trying to achieve with this livery. The old logo just does not go with it at all, does it? But maybe they could have redesigned the livery with the old logo in mind and done something with that. I don't know. But I don't like yellow at all on that.
I think really they did, like I said, they came back after sort of being gone for so long, and they came back with I think it was a 737 originally, which was painted up like the old Eastern with the cheat line and 737 on the tail like they did with the 757 when they took delivery of that, and they should have just kept that. I don't see what the problem is in trying to keep something that's kind of that people know. Because, like I said, this to me looks like someone's just brought a name back to life, and it's not going to do well, and it's going to go out of business anytime soon. Like, I hate to put it like that, but that's kind of what it says to me. Is it's a very rushed livery. It's nothing. It's two different liveries. You split the plane into two. You got the back end, which is a complete mess. Front end, which doesn't. The two don't connect.
The front end they've not done anything with it, have they? To be fair, it just says Eastern and has the logo, doesn't it? I'll go back to them engine covers again. They're vile, but what they could have done is painted them, the lighter blue of the two blues, and stuck a massive logo on the side.
Mm.
Yeah, those like Ian saying, those engine covers. The bottom photo, my grandma used to have lampshades that looked a bit like that.
Yeah, so there's lampshade yellow, but I don't like this at all, and I don't like the fact that the image of the old Eastern has just been almost just forgotten about with it.
Yeah, they haven't done. They've just totally done away with the history, haven't they, and just totally rebranded, haven't they?
Yeah, it's horrific in my opinion. I don't like this at all.
Nah, and it's quite an old airline as well, isn't it?
Say again.
It's an old airline, isn't it?
Eastern is an old airline, and then they got bought out, I think, and then the name came back. Like I said, a good few years ago actually, on a 737-800, and then they added, like I say, the 767s, which they're not young. The top one that you can see on the picture with the 300 is like one of the old British Airways ones that went to Qantas, so that was it's an old bird, and of course the 200 in itself is an old plane anyway. So it's I think if you're not going to do anything with it, just leave it alone. Don't.
Yeah, I did Google the old livery.
Yeah.
It certainly was a better look than this.
Yeah, don't ruin what was once in people's memory, sort of thing,
Yeah, it says January the 12th, when in 2020, after nearly 20 years of being officially defunct, the first flight of the renewed Eastern Airlines landed at JFK Airport. That's where this new livery's come from. It's sort of it's a new airline. They're sort of branding it as a new airline, aren't they? And whatever's happened in the past, they've sort of washed the hands of it, haven't they? That's what it sounds like to me.
Not for me at all. But it is hurting my eyes, so I'm going to change off this one now, and go on to our number 4 picks. But before we do, Ian, a couple of comments in the chat.
We've got Grey Blue, who says that one's nice in my opinion. So I'll have a word with her about that after. Aviation 19. Well, I think Eastern is changing that law. He thinks that Eastern is changing delivery.
I believe they are, or they already have done.
Right.
But that livery is nowhere near. It's no improvement. It's by far no improvement. Like if you have a look at it,
right,
and just type it in, I think it's supposed to be like it's a really really sort of dull blue, and I think there's like splashes of yellow and black in there. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. It's like just drop Eastern, just leave it alone.
Yeah, I've got it in front of me.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. I'm surprised I didn't include that one either, actually.
Closer to the old one, though, isn't it?
It's cleaner, but it still sucks. That's the best way of putting it. It sucks.
Just having a look at a picture of it now on CNN website, and I don't mind it, to be quite honest with you.
Well, that's where you and I differ, and that's where the arguments
That's
are
fair
really going to
enough.
start.
Yep. Yeah, that one I agree. It's just absolutely. Yeah, that one's not for me at all. But oh no, hang on, I was looking at the wrong one.
Whilst he's finding the right one, Steve, your opinion?
Oh no.
I would definitely ditch the yellow from engine covers and tail, and the tail needs a lot more blue on it.
Mm.
And like you said earlier on, the first front half of the aircraft's doing absolutely nothing. They need to give that a little bit more life for that livery to even be close to working for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excuse me.
You found it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. You're right, Tom. It's minging. Yeah, I don't know what they're playing at with the new one. To be quite honest, it looks like. Do you know when you're watching Carol Kirkwood doing weather and she shows the little ISA boys and things like that?
Yeah.
It's like they took a segment of that, stuck it on the tail, and painted it like a blue, I don't know, grey blue, dark grey blue, pale grey blue and yellow. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of those lines on the on weather. And I don't know where they've got yellow from. I don't know why they have to put yellow in it.
No, I don't either.
Nah. No, I don't like that either.
No. But a couple more comments in there, and then we'll move on to the number 4 picks.
Aviation 19. Well, I think Eastern Changing Livery said that one. Yeah, for a better one. Some first flew with BA, then Qantas, then Dynamic Airways, then Eastern.
So that's the...
yeah, they've certainly been passed around a bit, haven't they?
Yeah, that's the 767-300s that I mentioned with the Rolls-Royce engines. Yeah, they started off with BA, leased them out to Qantas, 2,000, and then Qantas bought them. I think they bought 6 off of BA. And yeah, there's some are still knocking around now. So, yeah,
and he's saying that
they ain't young at all.
Sorry, I was just going to say they have a retro livery on a 767-200, which I am trying to look for, and I can't see it anywhere. That one.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't realise that they had a retro livery still knocking around. I will just have a look here. I'll tell you what. Yes, they do. I know. Yeah, I know what he's on about now. I mean, yes, it's retro, but it's not quite the same. Yeah, I see it. Not quite the same as what it once was.
I think I can't see. No, I can't. No, it don't matter. Don't matter.
No, we'll have a look afterwards, but it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's jump on to the number 4 picks, and Steve, we are back to you.
Okay.
And your number 4. You seem to have gone for very controversial options, but it's Air China. But you have your reasons, so I'll let you explain them.
I have got my reasons. We're a company that has a lot of new aircraft, A350s, 787s. Their habit of making them look old and dirty is unrivaled. And even Flight Radar are embarrassed of them, because you never ever see the arrivals for them at Heathrow. It's like they don't want them to exist. It's like they've got this brand new toy and they just try and make it as dirty and ugly looking as quickly as possible.
It's yeah. I mean, given how pollution in China and stuff like that, you can kind of understand why the planes get dirty and things like that. I actually quite like the livery because it's very. It looks like an old livery, but it still looks like sort of modern in a way, like the cheat line. Like anybody that knows me knows I'm a huge sucker for a cheat line. And cheat lines seem to be disappearing off the face of the earth quicker than anything. But I don't know. I mean, as much as the dirtiness and things like that come into play, could you put it into sort of the same category as like the American Chrome one and call it a timeless one? Because it has been around for a while, this livery.
It's just, say you go and take photos of no reflection off the sun or whatever. You feel like you could draw your name in the side of them. It just, it's the kind of unkept nature of them that really puts me off the China. Like the actual livery, the grey and the blue, it's not terrible, but it just now and again from how they appear when they arrive into Heathrow or wherever it is you've seen them.
Yes. Ian, do you agree or disagree?
I don't know. I'm torn with this one, to be quite honest. I understand what Steve's saying, and looking at the pictures, what you've put on screen in front of us now, you can see what. Oh God, I just dropped me headphones. I can see what Steve's saying. I quite like the livery. Now, I would say the actual, they look cluttered. I mean, you've got the grey at the bottom, haven't you? Which just is just a flat grey colour, which is no. It's never going to get a reflection on it or anything like that. You're never going to be able to see runway lights on a wet day or anything like that through bottom of it. But you've also got the low cheat line above it, haven't you? Then you've got a row of windows above that. Then you've got a load of writing above that in English and Chinese. And then you've got the registration at the back of the plane. You've got a flag at the front of the plane, and then you've got a livery on the tail as well. And I just find that it's probably too much on the top half of the plane. You know, they've sort of tried to get as much information onto the aircraft as they can, and just created a cluttered up thing. It looks really cluttered, and I think that's probably going to have some kind of impact on when you look at it. You're just going to look at it and you're just going to see all this writing down each side of it. Then you see the cheat lines, and like you say, you're never going to get a reflection off the grey, and then the top half of it's just going to look dirty and minging, and like Steve said, it just looks unkempt, doesn't it? It just looks like they just don't really care. You know, it's been like that for years, and if it's not brought, why fix it? And I think that's a good point what Steve makes, that they're just not clean, and I just don't think. I think if the grey wasn't there and it was white, it would probably look a lot cleaner, to be quite honest.
Yeah, no, you could well be right. They just look almost a little bit sort of clinical. It's only that blue stripe that gives it any real definition of any sort of colour other than a dull, polluted grey to it.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you on that.
I mean, the thing is, like I said, the livery's been around for a while. It's had a few changes, albeit very subtle ones, but I don't know. I mean, I can't agree with it being a horrific or bad livery sort of thing. It's, like I said, I'm a absolute sucker for cheat lines, and cheat lines are, for me, like a rarity nowadays. So I would put it in the same category as a bit like the Chrome American livery, just because it's been around for a long time. And it just, I mean, I know, obviously, 350 and stuff, it gets dirty very quickly, but that's because of the pollution and stuff in China. But I just think it looks quite nice on any sort of aircraft you put it on.
Yeah, you see other Chinese carriers, and they don't seem to have that sort of grubby feel about them, but obviously, for whatever reason, Air China seem that way to me when I see them.
Yeah. Well, it's an
you could probably say the same about the old Lufthansas. Do you know the old Lufthansas? They're the grey on the side as well. And I think when you see MD-11s and stuff like that nowadays, they all just look dirty, don't they? And maybe the grey plays a big part in it.
Possibly.
Yeah, it could well be. Rather than a vibrant colour, because obviously when you're photographing, you're always looking up. So to see a kish colour rather than a vibrant colour might sort of give that illusion, perhaps.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I like it because it's got that sort of real throwback feel about it. But yeah, Aviation 19 says that he disagrees and he likes it, but he hates China Eastern. Yeah, stay tuned. Just because, well, I'm sure one of us has got it on the list, no doubt. But yeah, I mean, take it or leave it again. I guess a bit like the American one. You know, you either like it or you don't like it, and that's kind of the way it is, I guess.
I'd like to see one. I have to admit, I've never seen an Air China plane, so I would like to see one in the flesh.
Yeah.
I looked away at Heathrow today when it showed up.
Oh dearie me. Right, let's move on to your number 4 pick, Ian. And this is going to probably spark up a whole load of debate because I literally cannot believe you've picked this. It is TAP, Air Portugal. Tell us why you don't like it, and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Right, okay. Right. First of all...
You're wrong already.
Right.
You've just opened your mouth, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Right. Now, first of all... Hang on, I've dropped my bloody...
No, you're wrong again. See, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
Right, if you kindly shut up, I'll explain. So, first of all, you've got the word TAP at the front, haven't you? Now, I understand that it's, the TAP Portugal and all the rest of it, and I understand that it's the Portuguese colours and things like that. I get all that. That's absolutely fine. But the fact that they've put TAP, and I'll take that 340 for instance. There, what they could have done. Now, this is what it looks like to me. So they've got this on the computer in front of them. They've got the Microsoft Paint or whatever they're using to paint this thing on a computer, a designer. And then they've thought, right, so we've got the word Portugal written on the side, which is fine. And then we've got TAP in two what I would call not very nice shades of green, to be honest. The red doesn't offend me. And we'll put that on side up plane. So there it is. So they've stuck this to side up plane on the computer in front of them. And they thought, hang on a minute, let's just condense it down a little bit so it doesn't look as big, and we'll stretch it so it goes from bottom of plane to top of plane. And then just to look at it, it doesn't even look like it says TAP. It looks like green with a red P at the end. Green something with a red P at the end. It doesn't. It stands out in its own right. I agree, but it's just a green mess with a letter P at the end, in my opinion. And then they've come to the tail and thought, what can we do with tail? Well, I know. We'll stick TAP on the tail, but it won't fit. So we'll just stick the little red and the green bit on, and it'll be right. So, and I just think it's very, very, very. I don't know. I just do not like it at all. I just think it could have been done, but they could have used the same colour scheme. That wouldn't have been a problem. But I think they could have done the word TAP at the front of the plane a lot better, so it actually said TAP instead of green square, red P, and that's it. That's why I don't like it. And when I'm at Manchester Airport and I see my batteries going flat and I see a TAP plane coming in, I think this is an ideal chance to change my battery.
No.
Yeah.
No, you can't. No, absolutely not. A
bit like China with his China one. It's time to nip for a brew, get yourself to the toilet, change your battery, and then hopefully it should have taxied round the corner. The next one will be on its way in.
No, absolutely not. And you're wrong. You're wrong on so many levels. Like, if this was past Watershed, so many friggin' levels. So they changed from. So I like this one. I really like this one, but I prefer the old one they had, again because it's cheat lines and stuff. But it's the colours of Portugal. And
yep, no problem with that.
It's TAP. I'm not going to say the Portuguese version. I know what it is, but I'm not going to. It represents that, and if you haven't got like beer goggles on, or you're not dashing off for a brew or something, you can read what that says. I think you can read what that says. It says TAP on the front. You can read it. Is there too much white? I think there is. I think there's too much white, but you can't stretch that out. You can't stretch that out a lot. You can't stretch out the tap a lot.
He could have stretched it out so it actually said tap, instead of just leaving it all condensed at the front of the plane, and like you say, left 4/5 of the plane white, haven't they?
They have done, but then don't forget, this is an era where, it's all about, as long as you get the brand out, that's all that matters. So you see a lot of airlines nowadays where they would prefer to go with a Euro white livery and then just put their name on something. Take, for example, Finnair. Finnair have got their logo on the tail, big wording along the fuselage, and that's it. But this is more like a bit of colour. It's you can tell it's like a Portuguese plane, and I don't know. I think it's simple, but it's nice. There are worse Euro white liveries out there than this.
Yeah, I'm in full disagreement with Ian, I'm afraid.
Yes.
Well, I've known you for a few weeks and I respect you as a person and your views. You're so far wrong on this, it's unbelievable. Like, it's clean, it's crisp, it's unmistakable geese, it's vibrant, it's a pleasure to see them when you go spotting.
It's not one you can just not turn your head away from, because it brightens up any spotting trip. Like whether you're at Manchester and you're needing a wicked whiz, or your battery's dying or stuff, you make sure that you get a photo of it. That's the thing. You don't just turn your head and go, oh well, never mind, I'll just go get brew. Or anything else like that. You just, I don't know. Like for me, if I saw one of these coming in, I'd make sure I got a photo of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Equally here. I had sleepless nights when Ian said he was picking this.
Yeah. So, I mean, everybody is agreeing with me, which is good to see. Grey Blue, Ian, says that she likes the colour combo of this one.
Yeah, everyone's got an opinion, haven't they? It's not necessarily right, but
Aviation 19 says that he loves this livery. He says that TAP stands for Transportes Aéreos Portugueses, which is exactly what it is. I probably butchered it, but
yep.
I'm English, so what can you do? Also says to you, Ian, describe how you think it could be improved, like barring the stretching of the letters.
That's how that's how I would improve it. I would actually make it readable. I mean, I agree that it's got colour in it, and it does. I mean, I'm not a fan of green, full stop. Anyway, as you'll find out, but I think just by stretching the lettering out a little bit more, so it actually said tap. I just think it's been unnecessarily condensed into a block like it has been, and I think they could stretch it out, perhaps even change the shade to a shade darker to represent more of the Portuguese colour rather than that mushy pea sort of shade of green. I would like to say. I would probably change the shading of the green and stretch it out, definitely, so you could actually read the word tap. The tail, I would do something else with. I would probably do away with that tail entirely and probably split it into two and make some representation to the actual Portuguese flag and some representation to the flag. So I'll probably split it into a red, into a green, and I know there's a little emblem on the Portuguese flag, and pop that on it as well. And I think that's what I would have done to it, to be quite honest.
The tail suggestion is not a bad shout. Yes, it's not a bad shout actually. If you just put the Portuguese flag on the tail with the emblem in the middle, I don't think that'd be a bad shout, really.
The lettering out.
Yeah, but you're still wrong.
Yeah, I don't like it. I just don't like it. Yeah.
Oh, dearie me. Aviation 19 says, in his opinion, it's one of the best liveries at Heathrow.
I'd suggest he tries a different airport. Just kidding, Aviation 19 there. So
maybe give Lisbon a go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have we have a chat going, and we've been flooding the chat with TAP A319 gifts and everything just to cheer Ian up on a bad day.
I mean, I will say this: I have found that picking bad liveries, there's not a great deal of absolutely horrific liveries out there. There really, really isn't. And the 5 I have picked, defending myself, are probably the 5 worst out of a sort of a good bunch, sort of thing, if you know what I mean. So, and you'll both probably agree. Each one's nice in its own particular kind of way, I suppose. But if it just doesn't float your boat, it doesn't float your boat, does it? And that's what it's about, isn't it?
Has this grown on you at all with the amount we've been hammering you with it?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I was looking through my photographs for a TAP picture, and I've actually got one, and I think it was me taking a photograph of something else, and this plane photo bombed it.
I'm sure it was. I'm fairly certain you were trying to get a picture of a bird or something, and just this TAP thing just suddenly
I probably was. I probably saw. Yeah, I probably saw a bee or something. I thought I'll get that instead, and it's photo bombed it.
Photograph bee, and oh look, TAP's got in where. Oh dear me, I don't know. But there's going to be a couple more that are going to be causing this sort of debate. But I think for my number 4, we are probably going to all be in agreement that it's shocking. It probably should be higher on my list, really. It's the airline windrows. And when we spoke about this in the sort of off air during the week, I said it looks like a pair of 3D glasses just completely blown up and whatever. And this livery gives me huge headaches because it's so bad. The color coordination is so bad. It's like a turquoisey blue and a really bright red, and it's so painful in the eyes. It's unbelievable. This is one where I'd go for a toilet break or make sure I'm changing the batteries.
Yeah, it's funny because I've got a photograph of one of these actually flying over, and it's the only photograph. Well, it's the only time I've ever seen one, to be quite honest. And it's funny because when you're showing us that picture of that 350 today, that Lufthansa one, what you did, because I bought one at the same time, didn't I? If you remember.
Yeah.
And I took my daughter down to the model shop. She was only, we're going back a few years. She was probably only like say 10 or 11 or whatever. I took her down to the model shop to buy some paint so I could actually paint this 350, this Lufthansa 350, and I said I'll paint it absolutely any colours you want, and they were the 2 colours what she actually picked out of all the colours in the shot. And I've actually got, it's in my attic, I've actually got an A350 in them colours.
Oh, okay. Maybe she's a big fan of windrows then.
Yeah, well, I'd never heard of windrows at the time, to be quite honest. I thought it was just really weird that she chose them colours, and then this thing comes along.
Yeah. I would say I think I'm right in well, this I should be anyway, right in saying that I believe they're Ukrainian. I don't believe they're around anymore. I might be wrong, but yeah, they had this livery on the A321s and A330s, and if you thought it looked bad on the A321s, the A330s were about 10 times as worse. It was just. It was so bad. They are actually still going around, but I think they're going around with a much better livery now. If I just have a quick nosy. Maybe not. They've still got the same horrific livery. So yeah, they haven't changed it basically. But you have a look at it on other aircraft types like the A330 and stuff, and it's grim. It's so bad. Who sat there, who got paid millions to sit there and go, no, I think we'll go with a nice turquoise blue, and we'll go with red, and we'll make it look like a pair of 3D glasses.
Yeah, it's a few little black spots away from looking like a watermelon.
Yeah, pretty much.
True.
Pretty much. It's just a real eyesore, really, really. I'd probably get 1 or 2 photos, but I think that's as much as my camera could take.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with you on this. It's not a controversial choice. The colours just don't go in the slightest.
No. Aviation 19 says he doesn't like this livery. Jones Aviation, who was our guest last week, says these are worse than those future concepts. Don't know about that because it's close.
I've just sent you a picture of the interior, the seating of a Windrose 330.
Oh,
and you think the outside's bad? Wait till you see the inside.
No, that's no, absolutely not. That's dreadful.
Oh wow.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll pop it on the screen so everybody can see it. But yeah, if you if you haven't seen a picture of what the insides look like, what would be the best way to describe them?
I don't know. Shades of Lego. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're nauseous, that's going to finish you off, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Right, coming onto the screen shortly. But yeah, this is. There you go.
There we go.
So, yeah, there's. Oh God Almighty. So that is the interior of a Airbus A330 for Windrose. Looks very much like a kid's playground / someone's taken a slash.
Yeah, it looks like a ballpark or something. Don't it? One of those ball pits.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like a ball pit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that is.
It's horrendous. It's like
That
a bag of
should've-
local
yeah.
fruits has exploded.
Yeah. See, had I,
Sorry, go on.
I'll say, had I seen the interior, I think that probably would have gone further up on my list.
That's horrific. But imagine the cost incurred having that done. That would have cost an absolute fortune, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's not great.
It's not even a pattern to it. They've just thrown them in willy-nilly.
Yeah, it's all pretty random, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's dreadful. Really, really bad. But, yeah. Oh, God. Right, let's move on from this one. Let's move on from this one. Aviation 19 says they are still in service, which is what I said. The A330s don't look that bad. I think it's an opinion. I think they look dreadful. I think anything that wears this livery is dreadful. And he also says that the cabin looks like the old Indian Airlines cabin, which, yeah, if you haven't seen that, that's an interesting one.
I haven't seen that. I'll have a quick
But
shifty on that.
let's go to Steve's number 3 pick as we sort of get closer to our own worst liveries from the last sort of 20 years or so. Steve, your number 3 pick is another controversial one. It is the Jet 2 Holidays livery. I'm going to assume there's going to be a lot of stick being thrown your way in the chat. But why do you why are you not a big fan of this one?
Well, first of all, don't worry, I'm not going to be quite as controversial about it as I was on the message the other day.
No, you might as well be honest.
No, I'm going to dumb it right down because first day on the job, I don't want to get lynched just yet. So, more constructively, I think the normal Jet 2, the silver and red one, is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But this, they've just managed to make it look a bit tacky with having like slogans written on it. Package holidays you can trust on the top. The position of the sun on the APU looks like it's suffering from a bad curry. But yeah, it's just a bit kind of unnecessarily tacky and just sort of cheap looking compared to their main airline.
Suffering from a bad curry.
Yeah, the APU does.
Well, I've never heard it described like that before, but yeah, not had any sticks thrown at you just yet, so you're doing all right.
It's because they know I'm right.
Oh, well, people will let me know. They'll let us know in the chat if you're correct or not. But yeah, does the livery actually remind you of another particular American airline, maybe?
Oh, not off the top of my head. Who are we thinking?
Maybe the likes of Allegiant.
Oh, let me check it. I don't know of them. I'll be quite honest. So one sec.
So Allegiant Airlines. I will show a picture on the screen shortly. They have changed their livery since, but you can see a stark comparison between the two.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You can see.
Yeah.
So
are they a subsidiary of each other, or is it just a complete rip-off?
I'm going to assume it's probably just a rip-off, I think. I mean,
Well, that makes it even worse. They've totally vindicated that decision to put those in now.
yeah, there you go. It's on the screen now.
Yeah, it's a huge rip-off.
Yeah. So you got Jet2 Holidays, and then you got the Allegiant line, and then on the actual Allegiant plane itself, it says, what does it say? Travel is our deal, and of course the Jet2 one is obviously package holidays you can trust. So it is. You can see how very, very similar the two are.
Yeah, it's just any, like the EasyJet slightly outdates our 20-year rule, I think, but any aircraft that has some slogan, or like the old EasyJet which just had their phone number on it, it just completely cheapens the aircraft. I wouldn't be as upset with it if they got rid of the slogan and moved Jet2 Holidays sort of up a bit from the bottom of the aircraft. So it was similar to the one you've just posted. So Jet2 Holidays was more central, but they sort of stuck it down there as a bit of an emergency. Oh, we need to find some room for this. And it's all a bit kind of messy and all over the place rather than well thought out and nice.
Yes. I mean, Ian, seeing as your sort of local airport is Manchester and these are very, very common there, what are your sort of thoughts on this?
I don't mind them at all. I've got no issue with them. They just scream going away to sunshine. It goes back to your first choice days and things like that. You know, the older airlines aren't with us anymore. But it just like Steve was saying, it's just got package holiday written all over it, hasn't it? And I think that's exactly what they're there for, aren't they? They're just for shipping. And when people see a Jet2 Holidays plane, imagine families with kids. Kids look at it and think, wow, look at the plane we're going on. It looks absolutely fantastic. It's vibrant, it's bright, and it just screams we're going on holiday to Spain.
But Chewy do the same service as Jet2, but they don't feel the need to plaster all over it that they're sort of a package holiday operator. It just say the slogan cheapens any aircraft, but Jet2 unfortunately was my example of it.
Yeah, I think they brought the livery out. I mean, I don't know how many years ago it were, but I think it was at the time when Jet2 started selling proper package holidays, weren't it? Because I think Jet2 once upon a time, was it not just a cheap carrier, weren't it, before they started doing their own package holidays?
I believe so.
And I think this was just part of the holiday package sort of thing, weren't it? So, I mean, it's advertising Jet2 Holidays, isn't it, rather than Jet2 as an airline. So you look at it and you think Jet2 Holidays, package holidays you can trust. It's just an absolutely massive advert for Jet2 Holidays, isn't it? Bright, sunshine. And I think I don't know why I think it's just coincidental, or they had the same designer for the livery as Allegiant Airlines. I was just having a quick blimp on Wikipedia, and they seem to have similarities with the liveries. I think it was the actual designer who designed it. Just give them similar liveries. So yeah, and I think that's why I don't mind it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much the same. I actually prefer this one to the silver ones. So I'm always more on the lookout for these ones than the actual sort of silver bullet, should we call it? Although saying that, I'm pretty sure that's a lady toy. I may have to rephrase what I've just said. So the silver livery to me, I sort of pine after the holidays livery more than the other one. But it's, yeah, I mean, off the top of your head, is there any sort of other airlines that sort of have the slogans on that you think sort of cheapen a livery?
There was one actually at Heathrow today, and it had something like "Greece is a wonderful place" on it, and it's just, I know it's a Greek carrier. You don't need to like add anything. Just kind of keep it simple. So, if I'm being constructive, like I said, I'd get rid of the slogan and I'd move the Jet2 holidays up towards the windows, and it would look a bit more sort of balanced rather than they've sort of tried to get everything that they want on the livery.
That's Sky Express Greece or something, isn't it? The A320 Neos.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, I like that livery. I like that livery a lot. Just trying to think off the top of my head. Possibly would you... Probably no, not Ryanair, because Ryanair wouldn't do it. They just slagged off other people.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anybody else off the top of my head. No, obviously likes of EasyJet.
You can go back to your old EasyJet ones, can't you? When they used to have the telephone number plastered outside and things like that.
Very true.
Yeah, it just seems a bit unnecessary to sort of clutter it like that. I don't mind the company name. I don't mind a nice fancy tail, but all the other stuff is just an unnecessary distraction.
I think you're right with the package holidays. You can trust, but I think they could lose that, couldn't they?
So, and then move Jet2 holidays up into a central position, so it's not looking like an afterthought, and it wouldn't be as bad.
True.
Yeah, they could make. No, yeah, they could make some improvements to it, definitely, couldn't they? But as it is, it does what it's set out to do, and that's provide a really bright and colourful family holiday jet, I suppose. And that's what it is, isn't it? It just looks eye-catching, doesn't it?
It's like you said earlier, like, you know, kids are going to see it and go, "Oh, we're off on holiday," sort of thing. So it makes the experience a little bit better. Yeah,
definitely. Until you get on board and get absolutely done over. Off your trolley dollies.
That's it. Yes.
That's the clean version of what I said the other day. I have to dumb it down for this time of day.
Yeah, we're not gonna repeat what you said to us during the week. Not yet, anyway. But let's move away from Jet2 and go to Ian's number 3 pick. And we mentioned the green earlier, and you've gone for S7 Airlines, also known as Siberian Airlines, from Russia. Talk to us about this one.
It just looks like frog's sake. The colour. It's just the colour. It's vile. It really, really is. I just think it looks like it's. Do you know when you see a Boeing coming out or an Airbus coming out of Toulouse or whatever, coming out of Everett or whatever it is? It's that colour. You know what I mean? And then it goes to the paint shop and get painted up.
You mean like a primer?
The primer. Yeah, and that's what it just looks like. It just looks
like it's in primer.
It's just disgusting. The colour's vile. It really, really is. Yeah, I just don't like it. It's like you, Tom, with that one. What you didn't like, the Windrush. What was it called? Windrush, weren't it? Yeah, Windrose. I do apologise. Yeah, and it's just got the same kind of vibes to me. It's just the colour is absolutely vile on it, and that's why I don't like it. And I think you'd agree, wouldn't you?
I mean, not so much the darker one. If you look at the 737 Max that's on the screen at the moment, the sort of the lighter green is. I mean, I can live with that. It's like a high vis sort of colour. Is it too much green? I think it's probably too much green. Like probably too much luminous colours. I think I don't know why you would need to have. I mean, fair play to them. It's an interesting concept and an interesting livery, and it's different to sort of the types you get in Russia anyway. But yeah, when is green too much green sort of thing?
Yeah, and that's too much.
It's one of those aircraft you'd love to spot it, like coming through on a sunny day. It would look amazing, but just yellow green. It's just not a good combination.
That's it. It's just not nice, is it? Like you say, I mean, I'd love to see one, but and you'd stare at it. You really, really would, and it's definitely eye catching, and it will turn a few heads and things like that. But it's just not nice, is it? It's just not nice to look at all. It's just not a nice colour.
No.
Well, it's very very frog-like.
Yeah.
Well,
frog vomit.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, all that.
Let's go from that one to what my number 3 pick would be. And I don't know, it might get people talking, it might not. But my number 3 pick is Royal Brunei. Now, what I've picked is obviously the current livery, but I've also put a picture of the older livery to show what we once had and the absolute farce that we have now and how simple that is. And the old livery, the yellow that runs along the bottom, is one of those ones that's very iconic. It's always the ones that you would look out for. I remember on my trips to Heathrow, I'd make sure I get there just in time to see either their 767s or when they had the former Singapore 777s in the fleet. Make sure I always got there on time to be able to catch them, because it was one of those ones that is very rare to find a livery quite like it. Then they've done away with it, and they've got this absolute trash, basically. It's so beyond simple, it's not even funny. It's just a simple yellow tail with the letters RB on the tail, a grey underbelly, and just the writing with a white, yellow stripe going through it. And I absolutely friggin' hate it. We'll go with you, Steve. Is it a good change or a bad change?
Well, the new one doesn't offend me massively, but I'd probably change the tail and the writing round with each other. So you had yellow writing and black, grey tail, whatever it quite is. That would probably improve it slightly. But it doesn't massively offend me. If anything,
it should do.
This might be our first fallout of the evening. I might actually prefer it over the old one. I'm sorry.
Get out. We are now looking for another new co-host, so if you are fancy...
Yeah. I would change the tail from yellow to the dark colour and have the writing in yellow. That would improve it for me.
Oh, I don't know. I will take the old livery. I take the old livery all day long. Like, it's nice to sort of spot Royal Brunei because they are a very obscure sort of airline. But I think I would get more enjoyment out of photographing the old livery to this very quick Microsoft Paint job.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I've only ever seen it the once, so it was still kind of exciting and new. So maybe that's why my opinion of it's slightly higher than yours. And I'd never seen the old one in person, so that's why I'd lean more to the newer one.
The yellow is very bright on the old style, livery, and it must have been that nice that the actual government used it on their government aircraft, like the A340 that's in the picture.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, there would be a lot of people that would just have their heads turned by the old livery. I'd always get there on time to capture it, just because it was fantastic. It was so different and so unique, and then they changed it to this. I mean, I don't see why they can't have kept the livery anyway and put it on the Neo or the Dreamliner. Dreamliner you can sort of understand because of paint issues, but you know.
Have they got any retro flying, to your knowledge?
Only the government aircraft have still got it. So the A340's still got it. There was a 767-200 that went into Heathrow, which is quite rare to see. That's got the old yellow livery on it, and I think that's pretty much it. I think it's just like government aircraft that have got it, whereas now it is the really crap Microsoft paint job that a 5-year-old could create in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, like I say, I would replace the two colours round on the tail. I think that would improve it massively. I don't know if you'd go along with that or not.
The way that I would improve it is get rid of it completely. I think there's a lot more you can do with it. I think if you take the aspects of the old livery, and if you keep the dark side of the livery and maybe just put a yellow line through it or something, like for the outline, then maybe it might change it a little bit. But like to change the shade of yellow and to make it as bland as it is, I hate it with a passion. I hate it so bad. When I saw this come out and you compare it with what it was replacing, it's massive thumbs down for me.
There's a comment in the it's just come in that you probably agree with, actually, saying the Royal Brunei livery is a bit unimaginative, no real thought of national identity.
Yes, absolutely spot on, because the old one, you've got the flag, you've got the sort of the emblem in the middle of the tail there, and you can, it's pretty much, it tells you where, you can see it's a Brunei aircraft. The new one just loses, doesn't it? It just loses its identity.
Yeah, I think what they've tried to go down the minimalistic route, like I don't know, like Lufthansa or something like that, and they've sort of gone down the minimalistic route, but tried. I think they've tried to keep in with what they were about and things like that. So the font, for instance, what they've used on the Royal Brunei and the RB on the tail and the little crown symbol above the RB. So I think they've tried to keep it traditional, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work with a minimalistic plane. You can't. I don't think you can do minimalistic and traditional in the same thing. I don't think it works. You either go modern and minimalistic, or you stick with what you had, which is that 340. And I think that's what they've tried to do. And I just don't think it works at all. The two just don't go together. Minimalism and tradition just do not go together, I don't think, in that case.
I think what you could probably do to improve it is you take the 340 tail and you just extend that down. Like, extend it down the whole way, almost like a half Qantas type thing. You know what I mean? So have that yellow extend down the back, and then maybe keep it like keep it like a Euro white. Keep the engines as they are, and then just almost like billboard titles. And I think that gives it keeps its identity that way, and I think it will make it look a little bit better, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, but so evening to Rob Brown Plane Spotting, who did that comment. He says, "Evening, chaps. Hope you're all well. Greetings from north of the border." So hello to you. And then Aviation 19 says, "Can I just say the A340 is the Brunei government, not the airline, but very similar to the old livery, which is what they've kept on their government aircraft, and the 767s, and they also had 757s, which are all gone now as well. So yeah, so all they have now is the Dreamliner and the Neo, I think, if I'm correct. Someone will probably correct me. But yes, now we're getting to sort of our top two in terms of horrible, terrible liveries. There are some controversial ones. I nearly swore then. Controversial ones. That's controversial with an O, not a U. And before we do go on, if you are enjoying the episode so far, please leave a like on the stream, as it will mean a lot to us, and it will also help the podcast out. And also, get the more likes it gets, the more into the YouTube algorithm it will go, and it will help out the channel as well. And if you aren't subscribed around here, please consider subscribing. It will help us out a lot as well. Let's get on to Steve, your number 2 pick for the worst liveries of the past 20 years or so. You have gone for Smart Wings.
I have. It's, in my mind, the most ironic name in aviation. There's nothing smart about it in the slightest. It's just bland, and the back of it's like a child's been given some crayons, but whoever's like the CEO at Smartwings gone, oh, that's lovely. We'll stick that on our back of our planes, and they've been stuck with it forever. It just looks messy and a bit terrible.
What was it we called it when we were talking during the week? It was like a put up on your fridge picture, wasn't it?
Yeah, like someone's been over it with an ink eraser. It's the kind of picture that your child brings home from school and you feel obliged to put it on the fridge, but you spend every day crying inside knowing their aspirations is to put on Love Island when they're older.
Oh dear. Yeah, it's a bad child if they want to go on to Love Island.
Yeah, it's just plain and rubbish for where a Czech airline, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes,
absolutely no. I know they've got their own airline, but there's absolutely no nod to its country of origin. It's just a squiggly line on the back of the tail, with not a lot else going on with it.
The only positive I'll give it is it's sort of got the same colours as the channel, which is the channel's theme. So I'll give that a thumbs up. But yeah, we said during the week it was more like it said like a child had brought home a picture from school, and it was just like someone just done a line and they said, right, run your finger through it. So you run your finger through it, and that's what you get. It's it's a representation of Van Gogh.
Yeah, no, I'm so pleased. I've only ever seen one of them. It's just dreadful in my book.
Recently started up at Heathrow as well, so anyone spotting at Heathrow will get an opportunity to see this as well.
I think the name as well, smartwings.com. It's like when you're trying to find, when you're signing up to Instagram and you want to put a name in, you go through about 1,000 different names until you find one what's.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happened there, isn't it? They've started Googling, haven't they? And they've ended up with bloody Smartwings. I think they wanted to call it something different.
Smartwings_1.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what's happened, isn't it? Because it's not even a brilliant name, is it? To be fair.
But they could have been so sort of more imagination of what happened on the body of the aircraft before it got to whatever the monstrosity is on the tail.
Yeah, I don't like orange at all on them. No, it looks awful, doesn't it? The tips of the wings remind me of something. I can't think what it is. What's orange and blue?
The channel?
Yeah.
No. It's not the channel. It's something else. It's something. I don't know. No, the orange and blue like that. It reminds me of something. It's nothing to do with channel. It just reminds me of something I've seen somewhere, and I can't lie for me. Think what it is. Something I've seen in the shop or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the Czech Republic having a kind of rubbish beach photo after being famously landlocked. It kind of sums up their aircraft for me.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just no imagination in that whatsoever, is there? It's
actually, Rob Brown Plane Spotting's come in saying Smart Wings are associated with travel services, and if it wasn't for the fact that they were sort of brother sister companies, they would have got a nod as well, because they're equally as terrible. So whoever's in charge of liveries in that organisation needs a good sorting out.
It's probably a really, really well paid job as well, isn't it, coming up with a livery?
Well, CEO's son has done that one, I'd say.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, nursery school.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yes. So we are sort of both all in agreement, I should say, rather, that this is sort of no good, really.
Yeah. Well, I'm pleased I've managed to pick one of my four so far has been an agree.
For now.
Well, I didn't go quite as controversial as Tap, so I can't be that bad tonight.
No, that's very true. Very true. Very true.
That's
Don't
it.
think you
Go
can
big
get
or
as
go home.
controversial. or as wrong. So let's, so let's move on from this one. And Ian, it is your number 2 pick. And again, you have your reasons behind this one. You have gone for Corendon Airlines. Explain to us why.
Oh, Nickelodeon Airlines, yeah.
As you call it, yes.
I think the Corendon one with the dot core tail. I mean, I don't even know why you've put that one there. That's just throwing it all out. But the other two, somebody's just sat down and thought, right, what can we call our plane while they've been watching Dora on TV in the background or something. So they sort of sat there and they couldn't think of a name for the plane, so they've ended up using the word Nickelodeon. Little star at the end holding the ball or whatever it is, it just reminds me of Nickelodeon. And even the font what they've used reminds me of Nickelodeon. And I think they just looked at it and thought, you know what, we'll just take Nickelodeon's font and this and that and we'll just stick it on the side of this plane and that'll do. And that's what they've done. And I just think it's just an absolute waste. I think when you're given a job like putting a livery on a plane, you've got a blank canvas, it's going all over the world is your oyster, you've got a name you can play with, and then you come up with something like that because you couldn't really be bothered and you've just copied off Nickelodeon. And that's what I think. I look at that and just think of Nickelodeon.
Every time you say Nickelodeon, first thing that comes to head is Keenan and Kel.
Oh, yeah. The old orange, fizzy orange chap.
That's it, yeah. Oh, I don't know. Steve, your thoughts?
I'm going to have to apologise to Ian here, but I quite like it. I think it's quite neat, quite clinical, fairly smart looking. Whether the font and the emblem isn't amazing, I don't know, but from the distance, it doesn't look that bad to me.
Yeah, I mean, did we not sort of, because we spoke about this during the week, was this the airline that you said was some sort of partnership with Virgin?
No, that was AirAsia, weren't it? That was going to be one of mine until I found out they were part of Virgin, yeah.
Right, ignore that then. But
yeah,
I mean, it's not the worst one that's out there. It's not the worst one. There are a lot worse. I mean, that kind of design on the tail, which is that curve, is taken up by many airlines. I mean, one example would be Sunwing from sort of Canada. I think they're Canadian.
Yeah, they came into Bournemouth last year. The front of the aircraft was a Chewy and the tail was the Sunwing on it.
Yeah, and I think they would be sort of having that curved sort of tail. There's a few more, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. But like I said, there are worse ones out there, but I can also understand why it's considered to be sort of the not one of the greatest ones that are out there.
it just looks like it looks lazy. I've no dispute with the curve on the tail and things like that. That's absolutely fine. And even putting the name down the tail is fine. With a little star, it's fine. I just think it's been. I think it's just a lazy, half-hearted attempt of a livery, to be quite honest.
It's it is a good shout on this one, and we will move on from that one. We'll move on to what would be my number 2.
Hang on, I'll just say Aviation 19 says that Corendon, the port of Tui. So.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Every day is a school day. But yeah, let's get on to what my number 2 would be. So for my number 2, I have gone for ye old faithful Iberia. So as we were talking about identity or identities being lost, this is another one that for me is fallen foul to the IAG way of thinking, which is strip it of its identity and make it as simple as possible. And sometimes simple is horrible. And I mean, we're sort of all in agreement that the old Iberia livery was like one of the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
And definitely
to take that livery, which is, has been around since sort of late 80s, I think, and has adorned aircraft such as the A300, 747s, DC-10s, the lot. And it's another one that I would put into the American Chrome category of being a timeless aircraft, because I think when they had the new A330s delivered to them, some of those were in the older liveries, and they looked incredible. The A340s had the livery; they looked great. A320s looked great, and even though they were quite common because there was a lot of flights, there is a lot of flights between the UK and Spain, it's not one that you would sort of go, well, I've seen that too many times, sort of thing, because it was really nice. You can photograph it from any angle, and it looks fantastic. IAG then got their hands on it and went, no, that's all right, we'll mess this up for everybody, and this is what we've got. So it's kind of, for me, it's like one of the aviation's biggest what ifs in terms of plane spotting. Had you kept the livery from before and put it on the A350, because I think that would be dead smart to put the old livery on the A350, and that's all down to IAG. Part of like British Airways, Iberia, Aer Lingus. You can tell that this is the route to go down. For Aer Lingus, it's inspired them to change the livery to that green, and just with Aer Lingus written on the side to get rid of that green livery that everybody likes so much. That sort of made them like very distinguishable from everybody else. So yeah, this is my number 2 pick. The dreadful attempt to change Iberia's identity.
What about, do you know Eurowings? Are they part of IAG?
I don't think so.
Because it's just Eurowings that with different colours, pretty much.
No, I think
if you look at a picture of Eurowings, but there are differences, but you can sort of see the same kind of thing, can't you?
I think they're part of Eurowings. Eurowings are part of Lufthansa, I think, part of the Lufthansa group.
Oh, they're right. Okay. Yeah, it just reminded me of a Eurowings. So I've just quickly Googled one, and it's just the colours are different, pretty much. There's a lot of similarities between that and the Eurowings livery. Apart from obviously the colour and the name.
Yeah.
So
no, there is
maybe there is a sign at times.
Yeah, it is part of the Lufthansa branding sort of thing. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame really that Iberia have go down this route sort of thing. But Steve, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I'd agree. For nostalgia's sake, the old Iberia would take a lot of beating. These new aircraft, they needed to do more with the body, maybe extend the tail colours into the body slightly. That might have improved it, but it's just a lot of kind of empty white going on and not a lot of else on it.
It's so simple, and I hate IAG for ruining what was such a fantastic livery.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a tail. That's all they've done. It's almost cheap, isn't it? No painting required apart from the tail on them.
Rob Brown Paint Spotting putting in airline boss, great idea. Euro white, a splash of colour on the tail, and the airline name on the fuselage. Job done. No, it's so lazy and uninspiring. Even Lufthansa got in on this horrid game, and that is very true. They did indeed go down the route of changing their livery to sort of, Euro white with that sort of dark blue with the white logo. Just a quick one. What do we think about that one?
The new Lufthansa, I love it.
One. Yeah.
Oh, with the dark tail.
Dark tail, yeah.
Yeah, I quite like it. I think it looks smart, to be honest.
I like it. I like Aer Lingus as well.
Yeah, I do as well. I'm the same with the Aer Lingus one. The Aer Lingus one, I can sort of, I've warmed up to it, and it is quite nice. I've got a model of it, so it can't be that bad. But it just seems to me that this is the route that we are going to go down, which is just splash a colour, put the thing on, done, job done, and it gets everything out in the open sort of thing. But I think it depends on how you do it. Like Lufthansa have got it because it's just one straight colour of like a dark blue, and it kind of stands out a little bit. Aer Lingus, they've kept their tradition with the colours. They've just inverted the colours. So they've gone with their standard green on the sort of less of their standard green, and then changed that to like a teal colour, I guess. Best way of putting it.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, it's like a teal. Yeah.
So some interesting choices, but for me, this is a rebrand gone wrong, and I hate it.
They've definitely missed a trick, haven't they? You think of Iberia, and you think of hot sunny Spain and things like that, and the aircraft, even though they've got the red and the yellow on it, it just hasn't got that warmth, has it? What the old one did, it just hasn't got that same kind of warmth to it. It's a lot. This is a lot harder on the eyes, isn't it? It's a lot more clinical. Where the old livery were a lot softer, weren't it, and more of a pleasure to look at if you want.
Yeah, and as well as having just a little bit of colour on, at least it was done proper. You know what I mean? Like it was proper. So it was a proper livery sort of thing where time went into it, and you could tell it was Iberia. It was Iberia's identity. That was that. Whereas this, you could do this on paint in 2 minutes.
Yeah, the body definitely needs something added to it rather than just like a desert of white. It definitely needs breaking up somehow. It
needs something, and unfortunately, given the way that the world is going with the liveries and things like that, this seems to be like this is how everything is going to look. And it wouldn't surprise me if down the line British Airways end up taking a similar route and they just have a red and blue section, like change that yellow bit out for a navy blue, and that's British Airways for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't put any ideas on her, Tom, for God's sake.
Well, I'll try not to, but if you're listening, AIG, you messed up. Not that you will be, but whatever.
That's it.
Anyway, so Ian, there's a couple of comments in there. I will let you read them.
Yeah. So Aviation 19 doesn't like the new Lufthansa livery. Ew! Sort of comment from him. Aviation 19 again. He does like the Aer Lingus livery. Yes.
Good stuff.
Happy days. Rob Brown Plane Spotting. Must be getting a good deal on the Euro white paint at the paint shop. Well, yeah, definitely.
I'd have thought so. It's probably a good deal on you.
And Aviation 19 says when planes are white, they're cheaper to fly, which you can't disagree with. And unfortunately, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Less weight in it. Less weight on the aircraft, and therefore it's a bit more economical to fly. So that's the world we're living in.
More reflective as well, isn't it? Things like that. So
I blame Extinction Rebellion for that. That's their fault. But less said on them the better, because I will go into one. But yes, so we'll go on to our top sort of horrific liveries, and then at the end, just while we were talking there, I've picked out a few honourable mentions to kind of go off on one that didn't quite make the list. But yeah, so anybody that's watching at the moment, if you have any idea as to what you would pick as the worst livery of the last sort of 20 odd years or so, maybe ever, we'll stretch it out to ever. If you've got an idea for what you think might be the worst livery, chuck it in the chat, and we'll show it at the end of the show. But Steve, we're going to go to your top pick now.
Okay.
And I'm fairly certain this is one you've been looking forward to so much. Okay, so Star Alliance is your worst livery of the last 20 odd years. Tell us why.
It's just because when you start to go spotting, you want to see individual carriers and what have you. And when a rubbish black and white Star Alliance comes up with just a small mention of the aircraft you've been desperately waiting for all day, it's just disappointing. I don't want to see it. It's not a good looking aircraft. And you think One World, they at least have the decency to keep the tails the same as the original carrier of it. But even like the Sky team, who are equally guilty, have at least got a decent silver and blue livery to make up for it. But this is just, it's black and white. It's just as basic and boring as you can get.
What do we think about, obviously on the screen now, we've got the first Star Alliance livery, which is made up of the founding members. Air Canada, Lufthansa, United, Varig, Scandinavian and Thai Airways. It's quite a funky kind of way of portraying them by having sort of sections of their livery on the plane as opposed to, just like an all-white billboard title sort of thing. Is that sort of the same sort of reason, or is that sort of a bit more bearable?
Well, no, if that came up, that would be quite interesting to get a photo of all the liveries, but just a plain Star Alliance with a very small bit of writing from the original character underneath it. It just, when you've waited all day for a particular aircraft and that rocks up, it's just disappointing. To be honest, it's a real anticlimax when a Star Alliance shows up rather than what you've actually been waiting there all day to see.
Ian, what's your sort of take on Star Alliance?
I love them. I love Star Alliance. I like anything like that, like your Sky teams and your Star Alliances of this world. And I think if I was sat there waiting for an Air India 787 coming into Heathrow or wherever, and then this thing came, I'd be buzzing. I would have loved it.
Yeah, the first time it happens, maybe.
I think the first time, but not. And I agree with you that you can't have that one Star Alliance plane running that route all the time, can you?
But
that would get a bit.
You see one Star Alliance, you've seen them all, but just the little bit of writing underneath as a sub note. Oh, this is what you could have had. So when you first start going spotting, it was like how many times do I have to come down here?
Bully's
pride.
But
it's things like that what make you want to go back for more, then, isn't it? Because if you keep getting if you get every plane you want the first time you go, you're not going to go again, are you? You're not going to, you need that variation. And these Star Alliance planes or the Sky Team planes or anything like that, they're very, very few and far between, aren't they? So I'd say to catch one is more of a bonus than definitely catching the actual plane what you set out to catch. And I just think the actual livery's nice as well. I love the little star on the black tail and the way they put Star Alliance outside. I think it looks great.
It looks like the bit where you stick the drill bit on an electric drill. Where you clamp it up.
Yeah, the chuck.
It looks like that to me. But the One World, say, but at least had the decency to give you the original tail. And like I said, the Sky Team, just in its own right, is a good.
Yeah, the Sky Team's a really nice livery. I agree with you there.
Yeah, this is just black and white with an apology underneath of here's what you could have had.
I absolutely see where you're coming from with it, but I'd never get sick of watching Star Alliance planes, mate. I think it'd go down probably as one of my top 5, to be quite honest.
If you went down to, if you had tickets for Formula 1 and you went there and the whole grid was McLaren, though, you'd be a bit a bit annoyed and bored of it, would you not?
Oh yeah. I suppose it's like going to Manchester Airport and watching EasyJet and Ryanair flying in and out all day as well, isn't it?
But yeah, it's just from a spotting point of view. Like, it's denied me on occasions, and I'm obviously bitter and never quite let it go. So yeah, it rocked into number 1 because I hold a grudge, basically.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Basically, what you're saying is it's cock-blocked you from actually getting the actual airline.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fantastic. Yeah, but you were saying there it's like a it's like a teaser of what you could have had. So it's like a really bad episode of Bullseye, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll keep the analogy what I was going to say in my head until later.
Yeah.
You can see Steve stood there though, can't you? End at bloody runway at Heathrow, and Star Alliance taxiing past Big Pilot with fingers out the window at him.
Yeah.
Cigarette in one hand, fingers up in the other. Yeah, I'll take it back to wherever you come from.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd be shouting at it.
Yeah. Goddamn planes.
If it was its own airline outright, and it wasn't piggybacking off other airline success, I wouldn't be as upset by it. But it's just when it's ripping you off for what you've wanted to see, it disappoints me.
Yes. So it's almost like it comes in as like, right, you could have had Air China, but here's what you could have won.
I know, if it's Air China, I'd happily take a photo of that, to be fair.
Not if it's dirty.
Could have won a mini metro, but here's a speedboat.
Yeah.
Conservatory for a block of flats, wasn't it, back when you watched that?
Yeah. Oh, you come so close, and you could have had Star Alliance. But here's what you could have won. Look, you could have won Air Canada, but you didn't. You got Star Alliance. Unlucky, son. Unlucky.
Well, I'll take my bus fare home over missing out on Air Canada.
Yeah. Your BFH.
Yeah.
So out of all the alliances, in terms of livery wise, you got One World, Star Alliance, and SkyTeam. Which one are we preferring?
Oh, do you know? I keep harping on about it, but today was the first time I'd ever seen the SkyTeam, and I actually really liked it. It was really good looking. But as a one-off, I wouldn't want to continuously see it, and it deny me seeing a whole new livery. So I'd go for One World purely because they don't encroach on the tail of them.
Okay, Ian.
Definitely SkyTeam for me. I was at Manchester spotting once, and an Air France SkyTeam 319. I love the little Airbuses. Come trundling past me, and it was only 4 months old, so it was brand new as well, and it just looked absolutely mint. Yeah, it looked absolutely mint.
Rob Brown plane spotting says Jim Bowen on Bullseye is what you could have won. Super smashing great.
You should get Ian to say that. He was up your neck of the woods, wasn't he?
Yeah, go on.
I used to deliver to Jim Bowen. God rest his soul. Yeah, he used to deliver stuff to Jim. Yeah. Once delivered, the big comfy recliner chairs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of them, yeah.
Did you knock on his door and say, here's what you could have won?
Yeah. It's funny because I used to go to his house, but I never actually saw him, and I only ever spoke to his wife, and he had a big black Labrador as well. Yeah, lovely family.
Missed opportunity to kind of wind him up as well.
Yeah.
I've got your chair, but you can't have it. But here's what you could have won anyway.
He used to be on Radio Lancashire years ago, and he got sacked, I think, for being, mildly racist.
Oh, right.
So, yeah.
We'll leave it
I think he said some out of term. Anyway, that's another story.
Anywho, right. Okay. So Rob Brown plane spotting, as we were talking about Iberia, says I don't know if you probably not agree with this one, Ian, because I know you like this airline, but Air Baltic are the same with their liveries, but at least they've made an effort with a couple of special liveries to offset it.
Yeah, I'm just going to totally disagree. There's Air Baltic cannot do a thing wrong for me, to be quite honest. I'd certainly I'd certainly put that up there. That's got to be one of the nicest liveries. And I've watched like lots of, like the planes TV, the where you go flying with a pilot sort of thing. You do the full flight and things like that. I've watched a few Air Baltic ones as well, and for me, Air Baltic as a package, as an airline, the actual livery on the planes and everything, they're just absolutely top class. They really are.
I thought you were going to mention someone else then.
Hey?
I thought you were about to mention somebody else. The forbidden words.
No, absolutely not.
Didn't have the profanity button ready.
He sends his regards, by the way.
Yeah. Tell you what you can do with those regards as well. Let's move on to Ian's number one choice, which I will put my hands out now and say I don't agree with. But Ian, your number one pick was Transavia.
Yeah, Transavia. I'm waiting for a picture to appear on screen. Have you put the old livery on here? I can't see the picture.
I've put the current one on. I take it that's not the one you hated.
No, this is the one I don't like.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. I mean, look at it. I don't know whether I've got a problem with green, the colour green. I mean, I like Air Baltic, don't get me wrong, because that's like that like sort of luminous fluorescent type green again. But where you've got the ones from before and this as well, it's like, oh, what colour can we paint our planes? Well, I know, I'll go to Air Serbia and borrow a couple of tins off them, and then we'll stick Transavia on side, and jobs are good. And I just think I just don't think it's the right colour on any aircraft, and certainly not as I mean the size of where it says Transavia as well, and the T on the tail in the circle, and it just screams cheap, low cost, like you said, aircraft what's going to go bust in 6 months type thing.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at the old livery, and then they've come up with this thing here, again, it's like you with Iberia, Tom. They've missed a trick, and they've tore the identity of the aircraft away and replaced it for this. And I mean, what's that abomination underneath it, for instance? That red, green, and blue.
I don't know, because I didn't really get a decent picture for it. I just thought we'll get the livery anyway. But I mean, it's controversial, I think, to say that it's not a nice livery. I'll tell you what it's very reminiscent of. It's very reminiscent of the current Finnair one, where they've just got the logo on the tail and then they've just branded the rest of it with the airline name. And
yeah,
I think in some ways it works. I think the addition of the colours underneath, as Matt Cochran would call it, a Transavia belly.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of adds to it. I think if it was completely white underneath, then it will probably not, I think for me, probably not look as nice. But I think with that additional colour, I think it is decent. And green is their colour because, they've been going for years and years now. And, they had a green livery to start out with. So, they've kept their green as part of it. But I don't know. I'm going to have to probably disagree with you as a bad livery, because I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all. No, I don't think it is. Maybe the logo could be a bit better. I think maybe. I think that could probably be a bit better.
They've just tore the heart of the plane out, and that's what I think they've done by that livery. And I think it's just a sign at times with anything like with the German, when Finnair is another one, and airlines like this where they've just absolutely just forgot about the history and the past, and they've come up with this what they probably perceive as quite a trendy modern day looking livery, and it just looks cheap and nasty, in my opinion.
Yeah, see, I'm not on board with the childish T on the back of it, but I think the actual green writing on the side of the plane's fine. I don't see the purpose of there being 3 different colours underneath. I'd keep it just green or just red or whatever they wanted to do with it. But overall, it doesn't offend me that much, to be honest.
I just don't get it, and I don't understand. I mean, what the concept is with the T as well. I don't know. It looks like a ladle with a little triangle at the top. I don't know, with a little L. I don't know.
Yeah, the T on the back doesn't look great, but overall, it's not the worst we've seen tonight, I don't think. But
no.
Again, it's all personal opinion, of course.
Of course. However, the worst is yet to come.
Yeah. I've just put a picture in chat of the interior of a Transavia aircraft as well, by the way. If the outside didn't sway you, the inside will.
Trying to sell it.
Yeah, it's just
that's nice.
Just all
I like
green.
that.
It's not Evolver.
It's classy. It looks good, that.
That just induces vomiting and travel sickness.
Yeah, I would agree. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, the interior could be a bit better, but overall the livery itself, I quite like it. But like I said, it's all opinionated. However, I think we are all in agreement that my number one pick, and I've got plenty to say about this. Where do I even begin with China friggin' Eastern? I hate this with every fibre of my being, with every bone in my body, with every breath that I take and every step that I take. I will be hating this for the rest of my life. So what they've done is they've just gone, we've got to design a new livery today. Let's just put the logo and the words on it and we'll come up with something later. Or, no, that'll be fine. We'll keep it at that. Oh, really? Are you sure? Yeah, no, we'll keep it at that. No one's going to hate it. Wrong. This is... It's beyond lazy. It's beyond bone idle. It's beyond crap. Like, it is the crappiest of craps. I hate it. I absolutely hate it with a burning passion. I could go on literally all night about talking about how bad this is, but it is so bad. It's so bad. It's so boring. That's the thing. We haven't said that about any livery that we've picked this evening until sort of now, where it is boring.
It's definitely crying out for a splash of colour rather than just that little bit on the tail. If they just put some colour on the body, it may have improved it.
It's just
2-3%.
It's so lazy. It's unreal. Do you know what I mean? It's like somebody has sat there and has been paid lots of money to design a new livery for a big Chinese airline, and this is the best that they could come up with. And
it's got a little bit of a Malaysian feel about it, like the red and the blue colour, but obviously they kind of extend theirs on the 350 and make it look a damn sight prettier than that.
It's just, I hate it. I wish I could make my eyes unsee it. And I wish I could go back in time to a time where their livery was actually amazing, with the cheat line and the red cheat line and blue and golds and everything. And now we've got to put up with this absolute abomination. Like we were talking earlier about, like, those that kind of those aircraft that, or airlines that you sort of see coming in and you think, no, I don't fancy that one. Like I would go home if I saw this one coming in. Like, screw everything else. Like, if I knew this one was coming in, I'd be like, I'm going home because this is too much.
I'd have to ask Ian, is it more or less offensive than a tap to you?
I don't know. I wouldn't mind just there, to be honest. I think, I mean, I would probably feel the same about this as what I would with a tap. It's where I'd go and have a cup of tea or what have you. It's got, like Tom said, it's got absolutely nothing going for it. I don't think red writing goes against a white background anywhere. So any red lettering against, on a white background doesn't work for me. It doesn't. It looks, the sort of red blends into the white, where a blue or a black or whatever is quite bold, isn't it? And I think red doesn't work anywhere. But I think red on white, what they've done there, it just does not work at all. And I think maybe they could have put a border around the red. I imagine that's meant to be a bird or something on the tail, isn't it? A swift or something. But they could have outlined the red on the tail, and maybe, I don't know, the tail needs something doing with it, because it just doesn't look right. It, like Tom says, it's like they just got the logo, stuck it on the tail, stuck China Eastern on side, and said, right, that'll do, and it won't do.
There's definitely a difference between classy simplistic and lazy simplistic.
Yeah,
and this screams, like Tom said, lazy simplistic.
Yeah, it's got. I think it'd work if they finished it. I think it's just got something missing, and I can't really put my finger on what it's got missing.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to apologise for anyone that might be offended by this. And considering we're past 9 o'clock, kind of get away with it. It is a piece of shit. That is all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. It's so bad. It is so bad. It's like anybody could come up with that. It's so bad. It's just plain. It's boring. It's crap. I don't care about it. I have no care about it. Like, give me the old one.
Yeah.
Even if they ran like a red and blue stripe sort of behind the wing, diagonal or something, just to break up the monotony of it.
Keep the cheat line. There was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Do you remember was it an Embraer? I think it was an Embraer, weren't it? What British Airways used to have. I've got a photograph of it somewhere, and it was just a plain white plane. It was just a plain white Embraer. I'm sure it was an Embraer, and it had the little British Airways. The little, I don't know what it's meant to be. The wavy line thing. What they have above the name, and I think it just said British Airways on side.
The Speedbird.
Is that what it's called?
It's a speed mark, but yeah.
Speed mark, yeah, and it just said British Airways outside. I've got a picture of it somewhere, and it reminds me of that. There was nothing on tail.
Yeah, this is just. Oh God, no! Just no, absolutely not. And I kind of want it to get off my screen, and I just want to throw my computer out the window just for showing it on the podcast. It's dreadful, absolutely dreadful. But yeah, those are our picks for the top 5 worst. Do you know what? We haven't fallen out half as much as I thought we were going to. That seems to be the tapped one. I wonder why. But no. Yeah, that is our pick, or our top top 5 worst airline liveries, I should say. That is purely our opinions. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to run through, because we've been going for 2 hours and 5 minutes, so we kind of want to keep this under 2.5 hours. What we are going to do is we are going to run through a few honourable mentions suggested by us and suggested by the viewers. So let me get the first one up onto the screen. So the first one was suggested by Rob Brown, Plane Spotting, and it is Aero Peru.
I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Oh no, that's all right. That's kind of got a bit of an old school feel to it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's an old airline, but it's very reminiscent to the very old, like the old livery of Aero Mexico. Aero Mexico, yes.
Yeah, Aero Mexico, yeah.
And it's Aero Peru. I don't know what's going on with the tail. But yeah, very old school. Is it bad?
Yeah, I'm not. That doesn't bother me too much. I think the actual fuselage looks quite classy with the blue red with the white stripe down. You're right. The tail doesn't seem to fit the livery somehow, but it's not the worst aircraft I've seen.
No, that's definitely not. Next up is one that I found. I'm just going to bring onto the screen shortly. It's an old Polish airline called Bingo Airways. Yep, I have to take a closer look at that because my eyes are going. Bingo Airways. I'll let you sort of spot what is wrong with this.
It's looking very polar bear.
Not just polar bear. They've used Comic Sans on the tail for the for the word bingo, and that is about as simplistic as it gets.
Oh yeah, they could have had an airline for slightly chunky ladies and called it Bingo Wings. They've missed a trick there.
I honestly don't know what they were thinking with that plane. They I don't know. They took a plane. I don't know. They just stick a nose on it, put a smile on it, and hope for best. Yeah, that's gross, isn't it?
Yeah, the fact that they've used Comic Sans for that's lazy, proper lazy.
Yeah. I think it'd be all right for doing Santa flight up to North Pole in winter, and that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the children might like it with a little bit of a smiley face and that.
Someone has to, I guess. But
and the stripes as well on the engines remind me of I don't know, it's like a warning sign or something. Do you know, remember the old boards what they used to fly towards at Kai Tak, Tom? We were doing it the other day, weren't we? You know, the red and white checkerboards and things like that.
Yeah, the old
it's just got that. It gives me that kind of vibe. That it's sort of a danger thing.
The old things you used to see outside the hairdressers as well, those red and white spirally jobs.
Yeah, the red and white poles, yeah.
Barber's pole.
Yeah.
Brilliant, fantastic. So we don't like this one. We're going to move on to another one which might split us here. It is, of course, the brand new Scandinavian livery. This is my suggestion because it is atrocious.
I like the tail. I like it. I don't like the SAS written down the side in silver. I just don't get it at all. And it reminds me of, you know, Turkish Airlines where they've got the symbol down the tail and you can't really see what it is either. I don't know why they do that.
Oh, yeah, well, towards the back sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what, like a flowery type thing or whatever. But it sure gives me that. I don't see the point of it. I really, really don't.
The blue's classy. They should have maybe put it on the engine covers.
Yeah.
As well.
I think they should have just kept the orange covers and just extend that blue like they have done. The silver could be probably a little bit darker and not so metallic, so you can't see it. But like this livery does not suit every single aircraft. Like it looks okay on the 320neo, but if you see it on a 737, it makes a 737 look ugly, like proper ugly. And that's difficult
I quite like
to do.
the engines as they are.
No, I don't. I hate it. Absolutely hate this with a passion. It's not great. They brought it out for the A350. Doesn't look great on that, and it doesn't look great on anything else.
But
yeah, you're right. There's no point having the SAS on the side if it's not actually legible.
Mm.
No, not at all. It just you can't even see what it says, can you?
No.
Is it meant to be reflective or something? Do you know, like
metallic
on a high-vis jacket where you get the reflective stripes? Is it that kind of thing?
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so.
Maybe it looks all right in dark then. I don't know.
But yeah, I don't like this at all. Another quick honourable mention was suggested by Aviation 19 and Robert Brown Plane Spotting. And we're about to offend some North Koreans here because it's Air Koryo, which is the North Korean state airline, the world's only one-star airline.
No problem with it at all, mate. It's proper old school, and I mean,
it is an old school,
and that's what it is, isn't it?
Massively old school, hugely old school.
Yeah.
I'd have a bit more going on with the tail. I'd extend the tail stamp to make it larger rather than it be sat in the middle of the white there. But
would you have it as a band going across the thing then?
Sorry?
Would you have it as a band sort of going across rather than just have the flag there? So, you stretch it across the tail sort of thing so it merges, so it looks like a strip sort of thing.
Yeah, just to fill the white up a little bit, but the rest of it, yeah, it's proper old school. You can tell it's country of origin. It screams where it's from.
Yeah, I think the flag on the tail, I don't think it's designed for that aircraft, is it? I don't know whether it's paint or whether it's... I can't imagine it being a transfer or anything like that, but it looks like they've took it off a smaller plane and maybe they only had a stencil, something off one of the smaller planes. And
Yeah.
if it was on a smaller plane, it probably is a band going across the tail, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that definitely lets it down.
Next one is a relatively new airline. And seeing as we were going on about colours before with windrows, this one will probably mess with your mind a little bit. It's a new Italian airline. And it is called Luke Air, which is very Italian, obviously. Let's just get it up. There we go.
It looks like someone smashed a Cadbury's cream egg over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's camo, but you basically you're covered in egg.
There is a lot going on, isn't there, with that?
It's an eggy camo. But this is it's a mess, is the best way of putting it. If I'm correct, if I just have a quick search, I want to say that the engines are indeed, the engines are two different colours. So the right hand engine is yellow, the left hand is blue.
Well, it's unique, I'll give it that. You're never going to mistake it, are you?
No.
And it's a shame, really, because when you look at the L on the tail, that doesn't look out of place on that tail. And even the Luke two different fonts, which I think is what you need, on the side. And they've obviously put a lot of work into that livery, and I don't know why they've come up with it. It's a shame because they've put a lot of work into it and it just hasn't worked, has it?
It's like somebody started painting it and then sneezed.
Yeah. Possibly. And I've got a problem as well with where it says it's right next to the front door and there's a white band around the front door. So it could be Luke Euro, couldn't it?
Yeah, true enough.
So, so you've gone from Cadbury's cream egg to Euro.
Are you hungry by chance?
I'm always offer a bit of chocolate.
Oh dear. Next one, and it's going to be our penultimate one, was suggested also by Rob Brown Plane Spotting. Probably controversial, maybe not controversial. I'll let you guys decide. It is, once I narrow the picture down, let's go with that. It's Be My Baby. There we go. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. It's just, I don't know. It's a strange name to call it for starters. And it's just, it sort of lacks colour, imagination, apart from a couple of kids on it. It just seems a bit weird. And the engine cover's a bit bizarre. Just either have it red or white, not sort of half and half, whatever it is.
Yeah. So the horizontal stabilizer is also red as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah.
I don't mind it so much. I mean, it's not doing any harm, but I think they probably could have had maybe put a little bit of more effort into it, maybe. But I don't think it's that bad, if I'm honest.
I'm sort of on the fence with it, to be quite honest. I don't know whether I like it or whether I don't like it.
If you had to sort of choose, what's sort of swaying you towards?
I quite like the tail, to be quite honest. I like the little face on the tail. I I'm not a big fan of that. The baby blue above it, the colour.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. I didn't like the Air Canada blue either, but that's another story. I'm not a fan of that baby blue colour. I do quite like the face on the tail. I don't know why they've stuck one on the side with a little kid with wings, like an angel. I don't think that's quite. If you thought about it long enough, I think it'd be quite the wrong image for an airline. You know, a kid with wings. You know, it's. I don't know. No, I'm actually quite offended now by that little baby at the front. Thinking about it, you don't want to say it, but it's a kid with wings. It's like an angel, isn't it? And it's sort of the wrong impression to give to an airline. You know, it's the last thing that wants to be going through your head when you're flying. You know, without saying bad words and things like that, it offends me. So no, I've gone right off it already.
All right, let's move on then.
Yeah.
And finally, we are going to go with Ye Old Faithful, and of course one that everybody's seen and one that everybody knows. Because you just you just can't. You just can't have a bad / worst livery. you can't have a bad livery podcast without Ye Old Faithful Ank Air. But it looks like something else.
I mean, who thought of that logo? They want sacking, don't they? Or giving a medal, one or the other. It's
not a case of who thought the logo, who thought about putting it there.
I'll tell you what, though, whoever the marketing strategy on that, like how many times has that photo been shared? You've got to dip your hat at that.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
Well,
oh Jesus.
Yeah, a nice one for everybody to have a little bit of a giggle at the end. But yeah, that's going to do it for this week. We've had a lot of fun going through sort of the worst liveries, and I think at some point we're going to do our favourite ones.
Yeah, that definitely sounds good. It'd probably be even more controversial than this one.
Possibly, yeah, possibly. But yes, if you've joined us late and didn't hear the announcement at the beginning, Steve is the brand new co-host on a full-time sort of basis here on the podcast. So yeah, we're very looking forward to moving forward with you on board.
Yeah, well, no. Again, as I said earlier on, it's really appreciated to be part of a good channel that's growing and sort of going places. It's exciting.
And it's fantastic to have you aboard. It's a decision that me and Ian sort of didn't really hesitate to make. So it'd be good to have you on and be a good laugh and stuff. So yeah, looking forward to going forward and reaching some goals and everything like that. So episode 21 done and dusted. We are going to sort of start wrapping the show up with a few shout outs. So Ian, we'll go with you first. But first of all, do you want to read the comments?
Yeah, we've got a few. Let's have a look. So Aviation 19, he shouted that, didn't he? China Eastern, Sheena Eastern, Aviation 19. He don't like Sun Express, United, China Airlines, the old Air Canada, Packer, Spirit. Hinnon, I presume it's meant to be Hannon, Jal and Correo. I don't think there's anything he does like, to be honest, judging by all that lot. He's got quite a good list, so he would have been a good one to have on tonight. Let's have a look. Luca, formerly known as Blue Panorama, that's Rob
right.
Brown playing spotting.
Yeah.
The old livery, the new livery is good. I'm not sure which one he's going on about there, to be quite honest, because the comment were a while ago. Rob Brown playing spot again. BMI Kids Crayon designed. Yeah, it's not the best, that is it. In Aviation 19, the green part in the middle looks like the JAL logo. I think he's referring to the Anchor one, which I totally agree. It reminds me of the if you're a Star Wars fan, the Rebel Alliance sort of symbol. It's similar to that as well. Rob Brown playing spotting. A big welcome to you, Steve. So happy days.
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Brilliant stuff. So thank you to everybody that has stuck around with us for the 2 hours and 22 minutes and counting mark. Hopefully it's been a lot of fun for you. If you have enjoyed it, leave a like on the video on the stream. And if you are listening back on Spotify, big thank you to you for listening all this way through. So we'll start to do some shout outs. So Ian, over to you for some shout outs.
Yep, I just thank you to everyone who stuck around tonight and listened to us for what is now 2 hours and 24 minutes. And thanks to you, Tom, for letting me be your comments guy and joining the debate. And welcome on board, Steve, and thanks to you as well, pal. So, yeah, that's me.
Excellent stuff. Over to the brand new co-host of the show, Steve, for his shout-outs.
Yeah, well, just to reiterate my gratitude towards yourself and Ian for taking me on board. Everyone who's joined in the comments and made tonight a good show, and sort of on a more somber one, everyone down in Plymouth and the first responders who helped to sort of resolve the situation down there last week.
Definitely, our thoughts are with everyone affected by that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yes, no, that's fine. My shout outs go to also sort of on the similar sort of way of what Steve said with the health service and all the key workers and that continue to work hard every single day, not only to keep us safe, but to help us try and get out of this mess that we are in at the moment. Also, some shout outs go to you, Ian, for providing a laugh this evening. Same with you, Steve, as well.
Well, no, thank you ever so much.
Good stuff.
I thought you disappeared then, Tom.
No, still here. Haven't disappeared just yet.
All right.
But no, so big thank you to you both, and I'll echo again. Looking forward to having you as part of the podcast moving forward, Steve. Just trying to think of some more shout outs, really. Shout out to my cousin. Won't be watching, but it was her birthday yesterday, so I'll give her a shout out as well. She's turned 30, so she's getting old. Big shout out to her, and a big shout out to everybody that's been watching, and left a like and left a comment and everything else and basically contributed to the show this evening. It's been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next sort of debate, which maybe next week. We'll have to confirm. We'll confirm again. We are supposed to have a guest next week, but we'll confirm whether that's happening or not sort of towards the end of the week. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. So, as I said earlier, if you enjoyed this show, leave a like. If you're new around here, do consider subscribing. It will mean a lot. And next week we are here from 7 o'clock British Summer Time in the evening. Next Sunday with whatever the show will be. It's all up in the air at the moment, but it's whatever it will be at the moment. But yeah, that's going to do it. So we'll start saying some goodbyes, shall we? Steve, I'll let you say goodbye to everybody as the co-host.
Okay. Thank you everyone again for joining us, and have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday. See you soon.
Brilliant. Ian.
Yep. Just thank everybody again for tuning in tonight and listening to what was an interesting debate, and see you all again next week.
And this episode will be up on Spotify from tomorrow if you want to listen to it back on there as opposed to YouTube. But yeah, for now, continue to look after yourselves, continue to stay safe, and we'll see you here Sunday, 7 p.m. next week. So, yes, have a great week, everybody. We'll see you in 7 days' time. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye now.